Welcome back for part 2 of the Heads Up Grandmaster class. We have 5-3 offsuit facing a raise. Since it's the bottom of our range, we can fold 5-3. Other hands will call or 3-bet. 5-3 is just too low to continue. Raising queen high, checking back for value. Queen high is good here a lot, but facing a turn min bet. Looks like thin value from a 7, 8, or ace, so we're just going to let go of our queen high. Luckily, we get a walk with 9-4. Doesn't play well post-flop. 3-5, once again, bottom 10% of hands, so we just let it go. Could raise here, but better just to take a flop, try to hit something, keep the pot small when we have a supposed skill advantage over our opponent in this $3 World Series of Poker tournament. Thanks for all the comments and feedback from the first video. A lot of thumbs down, a lot of thumbs up, but the overall consensus is that you like the different format, so I'm going to continue out the series with this part and possibly one more part to finish off the heads-up battle and discuss it a little bit more. Now we switch it up with a much more playable 6-7 and raise the limp. We didn't think he was capable of limp trapping, so his re-raise is unexpected, but we cannot continue after he does so. Premium holding. Ace-9 off, we raise it up, he takes it down. So he's not really a level 2 thinker where he's going to limp re-raise, planning on us attacking his limps. So we think that hand, when we re-raised with the 7-6, he probably had a small pair or ace-king type hand, where he didn't want to see a flop, but he wanted to put in more money pre-flop. He's turning up the aggression. I don't know if he's adjusting to our button raise frequency or if he's just getting some good hands that he wants to get value out of. He seems to be an above average player for such a low buy-in, and it's making this heads-up battle longer and more tedious than expected. 3-8, probably bottom 10%, fold that. It's hard to know if your distribution of cards is superior versus your opponent heads up, or if you're getting lucky or unlucky in certain spots. We jam the ace-4. Doesn't play very well post-flop. We could 3x, but feel there's too much to win, so we just jam it in with our ace blocker. Eliminates a lot of his value range that he could call our jam with, and we pick up the 55,000 that's in there. This is 6-8 is close to a defend. Maybe 8-7 we defend. 8-7 or 8-6 suited we definitely defend. 6-8 off might just be a little bit too weak to defend. Of course, when I played this tournament, it was around 1 or 2 a.m. after a long live session and online session, so we might not be on our A game at this point. The money isn't that huge, but we definitely want to win, having come this far in the tournament. We bet the turn because we picked up equity. We might have some fold equity. On the river, we have 7 high. We know that's not going to win, so we got to take a stab at it. Luckily, it gets through. We have pocket 10s, and that's a bad flop. Check back, try to get to showdown, possibly hit a 10, maybe pick off a bluff. It's close to a value bet on this river. Not sure what would really call us, maybe a 6 or an 8. We go for the half pot value, he calls, He has an 8, Jack 8 offsuit. Very nice. We pick up my favorite hand, pocket aces. Do our standard 3x, which he jammed on earlier after limping, and he goes for that line again. So the question is, do we slow play or do we stick it in? Do we put him on a value hand that can call, or do we slow play out of position? I think our hand's too strong, so we're going to slow play and try to get him to bluff it off or mistakenly value bet his way into a big trap. With the pot to stack ratio of only 3x, it would look kind of silly for us to have any bluff to just call here. So we get it in, hopefully he has a flush draw, a pair, or a bigger pocket pair, and we can get the full double here. Unfortunately, he was bluffing, but we still take down a huge pot without having to go to showdown. We now have the chip lead and the momentum. Let's keep the pressure on. We flop bottom pair. Check it back. Very wet, scary board. Probably just going to try to get to showdown. Horrible river. Just praying an 8's good. And it is. King high, no good. He could have bluffed with that hand, with the king blocker. Probably going to see a flop here with the suited 2-gapper. Great flop. Probably going for the check raise to get value and protection. This video happened over a week ago, so my mind is kind of hazy as to the exact runouts and everything, so I'm just looking at it through a second person's view at this point. We check raise and take it down. Good spot for him to jam, but we're not just going to let him win the blinds for free. Button walks, not a huge possibility versus this opponent. Probably going to jam here, attack his weak limp. Threes don't play well post, and we can take it down a lot pre. Having the chip lead, a lot of extra pressure and leverage we can put on our opponent. I don't mind a jam here over a min raise, because if we just min raise, we have to fold to a jam. We flop the jack, Brick City, and we win the tournament. Oh my God, there's the ace. 6 outs away from the outright win, and he hits the river. Can't blame him. Standard hand there, but unfortunate it had to go down like that. I can see a case between checking and 3xing with the suited ace here. Trying to get a read on his sizing. He quickly called and then jammed. I guess that puts him on a range of small pairs that he either wants to see the flop with cheaply, but he doesn't want to play a raised pot with those pairs because it's going to have a lot of tough decisions post-flop. So he'd rather just get it in pre once I do raise and put more money in the pot. So when I had that ace-3 of diamonds, I'm guessing he had something like 4s through 7s. Maybe a better ace. Hard to really know exactly what your opponent's thinking, but this has been a pretty long heads-up battle, and we're starting to get some decent reads. He's not afraid to put it in, but he seems to have some leaks post-flop. So we're going to try to play a little bit more post-flop, but definitely jam pre when necessary. Check down ace high on a board that hits most of his range. Can't really bluff him off, so we just take that loss. Trapping with the king 9 here. We don't want to raise and have him fold out all of his worst king X and 9x hands in case one of those comes on the board. We do have showdown value with the king high, but unfortunately he does have a pocket pair, which confirmed he open limped the button with. So that makes sense with our previous assumption of his limp jamming range with low pairs. Raise and take it with the 8-4. That's good. Walk is good. Easy raise here. Hopefully we win it pre or we flop well. bad flop, but worthy of a small C bet because our range is stronger than his. And we take it down. Easy fold, 10-5, plays very poorly post flop. He acts very quickly. I don't know if he's just tired of playing. He doesn't seem to want to balance his timing range, but everything's fairly quickly, which I do appreciate because it is very late and I want to get this over with, win or lose. But in general, if they snap do something, it's not a premium. It's just a instinctual reaction. Here he limps. We have the nut bottom of our range, so we want to rep a little stronger, try to take it down pre. We do flop a pair, but it's not strong enough to bet for value and protection, so we're just going to want to try to get the showdown. Unfortunately, he turns a 5 and beats us, but we now see he also limps 5-7 suited and calls a raise. Yep, that was the timing of his 3 bets. He usually snap folds or snap calls, takes a little bit longer, and milliseconds to put that 3 bet out there. The sizing seems to be consistent at about 2.5x my open, which I'd recommend it be closer to 3x out of the big blind, out of position, but it seems to be working for him, and it does put a lot of my hands in somewhat tough spots. Good flop. Probably going to want to C-bet. And he's out of there. He seems to be playing pretty fit or fold. Nothing too tricky, but if he has a decent hand, he's been going for it. Happy to get the walk. Happy to get some broadways on the button. This one's close. I'm going to lean towards taking a flop because this hand flops a lot better than most. Pretty good flop. Wish we had a diamond just for that backdoor equity. But with the stack to pot ratio as it is, we're probably just going to jam, try to get that fold equity, and if called, we should have 6 to 8 clean outs, depending if he has the flush draw, and hopefully get him to fold his 7s or 10s, or just ace highs or small pairs. He folds, we take it down, great result, and we're back to even. The battle continues. Snap min bets, probably has a 1 pair type hand, maybe ace X, queen 10, regardless we can't continue with 6 high. Could fold the 5-7, but I'd rather, just keep the pressure on, and you got to win a lot of pots heads up, or else you'll just be blinded out. You got to be in there fighting. Easy C bet with our range advantage having more aces. And he's going to miss that board a lot. So we can just take it down. Could raise here, just try to win it pre, but he's been pretty stubborn, limp shoving and limp calling. So we don't mind taking a flop. We have backdoor straight and flush out, so we take a stab at it. Continue on a 3 or club. King 10, we would have just called the raise. Please subscribe and comment below. Stay tuned for part 3 of the Heads Up Grandmaster class. We'll continue our normal vlogs for the World Series of Poker after that.